is RET Pro 4? The first thing that you'll notice is the blog. It's in the newsfeed item here. And this is a community of people using the software, interacting with each other, asking questions and learning from each other. I encourage you to get involved. I'll just unpin that for the moment to free up some space. Now, RET Pro 4 uses eSignal as its data supplier. When it fires into action, it loads in the eSignal data manager and establishes connection through the manager with 4 different servers. Those servers are listed here, these 4 here, and if you mouse over, you'll get more information on those. When they're all connected, the online item here will turn white, letting you know that you are now ready to load data. I'll go ahead and load some data now. I'll load, let's say, crude oil, a 1 hour chart of 500 bars. And that will go to eSignal, request, and load in the chart. And once it's loaded, it will scan the chart for a particular pattern setup. Now, this is a very special pattern setup. It's a 9-wave pattern that we have found to be the most reliable pattern for profitable trades. And that's after 15-20 years of intense research. Now, in this particular case, the software has scanned and has not found that particular pattern. Now, hourly charts and daily charts are loaded once and scanned. As the market moves, as the price moves in the market, the chart is not updated. It's post-market. It's only scanned once, and that allows you to load hundreds, if not thousands, of markets into the spreadsheet, and you don't have to do it manually. You can actually load in a watch list. I'll show you that soon. But you can load those in post-market to determine which of them have this particular pattern set up. However, we can also load in markets that are updated in real time. Let me show you. I'll load in, let's say, I'll load in the euro, 500 bars. And that's requested, received, and once it's received, the whole 500 bars once again gets scanned and gives you a time and date stamp. I can now display that chart once again by clicking that checkbox there. And newly displayed charts are added to the right-hand side of the display. And here we have a 5-minute chart on the euro. Now, I can zoom in by grabbing and dragging. And the difference between these two charts is that the crude is 1 hour, it's static, the prices don't change. The euro here, it's live, and the price does change, and you'll see the little price icon here, and that will change as the market changes. Now, every time a new bar is received, that's every 5 minutes in the case of a 5-minute chart, the software will then rescan the entire chart, not what's displayed, but the entire chart. There's 500 bars, it'll display the whole 500 bars, and it will be looking for that particular pattern setup. If it finds it, it will give you an alert. Now, it's looking for the pattern every time a new bar comes through. So if you have a live chart, the software is scanning it regardless of whether it's displayed the chart or not. As long as it's on the watch list here, then it will be scanning it every time a new bar comes through. I'm going to now load in a couple of more markets. That's the S&P mid-cap, E-mini, and also the Japanese yen. Now, I've loaded those in because I know that they do have some alerts. Let's look at this one first. I'll just maximize this window. Here is an alert. This is the pattern that the software is searching for. And when the software finds an alert, As long as you have this checkbox checked or highlighted, it will display it immediately, and also with the sound effect, if that's checked as well. Now the alert is displayed with a blue underline under it. And what we're looking for is a sideways move, a quick move down from the apex, and another sideways move. And this is a short trade down to, this is the target. Now the blue is the target, the black is the current price, and the red is the stop loss. We're looking to trade short down to the target. Now the target is currently set at T90. You can change that. The way this works is this. Just change this back. The distance between the apex of the pattern down to this point here, with price distance, is measured again from the highest point of the corrective, this sideways move from here, and that takes you down to there. It's 90% of that distance. Now different people using the system will prefer slightly different adjusted modified targets, and you can change that in the properties window. You can change that from 60 right up to 200%. A lot of people prefer 80%, some go to 100, and some will prefer 90. I'll set this at 90 at the moment, and you can set it wherever you wish. Now, the alerts come in different flavors. Here on the yen, it's a slightly different shape. It still obeys the criteria, and here this shoulder is coming out quite flat. We're expecting that to move down to this point here. I can zoom in a little if you want to have a better look at this and expand it out. We're looking for that market to come down. When you open up a new chart, or the system opens up a new chart when an alert is found, it is inserted into the right-hand spot and the others are moved across. We can close the chart by clicking on the X button here, or closing it from here and here. If you prefer to see every chart as full width, you can select in Properties, Tab rather than Split. And now, when you add in a new chart, it will be added in full width, but the previous charts are left as tabs, and you can tab between them then. So if we select another chart now, that'll be added in full width. This one doesn't have an alert, as you see here, but the others are tabbed. So the alerts are highlighted in yellow up on the spreadsheet or the watch list. Those that aren't are in grey, and you have a timestamp of the most recent alert. You can, in fact, order them by alert and by timestamp. So the most recent alerts always appear at the top if you simply click the button or the header twice. I will go back to Split because it is my favourite, and I'll open up a couple of charts here. There's a couple of items here it's worth noting. You can turn the underlay off if you wish. If you want to look at this without the distraction of the underlay that is sticky, you can display it as a candlestick chart if you would prefer to open, high, low, close. When it's looking, the software is looking for an alert, you can specify a minimum point move so that you're not picking up very small micro alerts. Small alerts won't give you enough travel to the target to give you enough profit by the time you pay the costs of brokerage and slippage. You can see this is starting to move down towards the target. Notice here we've got a position size. Well, RET automatically works out how many contracts or shares you should be placing. You put in your account size here and the risk, the maximum risk that you wish to take, and RET will work out the position size that you need to take when you place the trade. Now the risk is calculated as if you got into the market at the current price and it moved back to the stop loss, how many contracts or how many shares would you need such that your loss would be limited to no more than this percentage of this size account. So as the market moves, then your position size will change because you've got a different distance back to the stop loss. Now this pattern can be totally inverted as well, so we're looking at an up trade rather than a short trade or a long trade. That is quite normal. It just happens that these two patterns that I'm displaying right now are both for the short distance or going short. Now you notice now that the market has moved to the target, the 90% target that we had set for the yen. Let's zoom in now, and so you can see a little more. And you notice here that we've got a shadow, a faded blue underlay to indicate where the trade was. So you can see that this is just a typical example of the market moving in the expected direction. But this is happening all the time if you pick the right setups. Not every trade, every alert is a valid setup. This particular one is not particularly a good one. We are looking for a sideways move after the apex. But I'll go into more detail there. There is a lot of information in the documentation here explaining exactly what type of patterns we're looking at. The software is very good at scanning the markets, looking for those general setups, but it's up to your trained eye to pick the very best, the most probable, profitable trades.